Ladies of Reddit, how did a guy ruin their chances with you? First red flag was how antsy he was to get me on the phone. Was a friend of a friend on Facebook. So antsy I almost didn't call him. The deal breaker for me was something along the lines of, "You're not like most women. You can actually understand the complex subjects I like to talk about. Most women are too vapid and dull to compete with my intellect." Click. Barf. Gentlemen, if you have to state you're above average in intellect, you aren't. That guy belongs in a embarrassment. I wish I would have recorded the conversation, because if someone had told me that some dude had told them what this dude told me, I would have claimed BS. Like, nah, no dude is that fucking narcissistic and entitled. It was such a shame too. He was very attractive and I would have been DTF even if it didn't lead anywhere. You'd be surprised at how bad the sub I linked can get. People using big words that make no sense in context and downright narcissistic assholes galore. Makes this look like child play. Damn, you just sold me. I've been enjoying our choosing buggers for a while now, just marinating in the knowledge how shitty humans can be. Kinda like slum tourism, isn't it? All these subs, parading the worst of the worst out by category. Gives you that nice "at least I'm not that" feeling. Like schadenfreude, mixed with moral support for the sufferers. I feel that TBH. Sometimes gives a good laugh, though, especially when the people in the post realize they're on Reddit. The comments get really good. Me too. Haha, always a good feeling to know someone thinks alike. Choosing beggars has been my latest muse. Went on a date with a guy and every time I would ask about details of his job or education he would say things like, "Let me see how I can dumb it down for you," or "I'm sure you won't understand any of this." But I was so offended that when the check came, I whipped my wallet out to pay for or split the bill and just be done with it when he said, "Oh no, I'm sure I make more than you do, don't worry." Even the first quoted sentence is a reason to immediately stand up and leave. I just stopped reading at dumb. What an asshole. Besides that, if you have to work to dumb it down, you most certainly do not even understand the topic too well yourself. I totally agree. I would have left at the slight hint of him trying to sound like he's above me in some sort of invisible hierarchy. Sure. That's a first date in which people are supposed to hold back since they know basically nothing about the other person. If it starts like this, it can only go downhill. I mean, not necessarily. People have some obscure professions. "Oh hi, I'm a League of Legends support pro player." Kinda makes no sense, sure, but you just try to simplify it then. You don't go on about how you're gonna try to dumb it down. You say something like, "It's basically," insert simplified explanation. Dumb it down was the wrong way to put it. I do machine learning for a living and I have to dumb it down for people a lot. It's not that they aren't smart enough. It's just that it took me 6 years of schooling to understand. Yeah, obviously there's plenty of situations where you have to simplify things. But when you say it like he did, it's condescending and comes across as really arrogant. Most people have to simplify their explanations of their careers if it is not something everyone knows about already. I mean, I'm basically a beautician, but even I have to simplify my explanation of that profession. Anything that a person might not have encountered personally is going to require you to dumb it down a bit. That's also usually how introductions work. You don't go way in depth in the explanation because they aren't usually asking for that with initial career questions. Alright, I'll bite. What's a beautician? Well, let's dumb it down for you. I work in a art field, and I've had to explain thoroughly what I do to my friends. 9/10 of them will just call it graphic design at the end, which is frustrating. So I'd respond similar to how this guy would respond, but ended with graphic design or something, you know. I wonder if it comes off condescending. He was a co-worker of mine at a restaurant. He was about 10 years older than me, and I knew he was interested, but I wasn't sure. He seemed nice though, so I was thinking about it, but something seemed off. I ended up at a mutual friend's party a while later and he was there. I wasn't drinking and decided to leave early. He had been drinking and decided to follow me through the dark to my car. He called my name as I got to my car, so I turned around and he started demanding I give him a chance and go out with him. I apologized and said I didn't think it was a good idea, and he got upset. He started yelling, saying I had been at ease and leading him on, and then just kept yelling, "Just go out with me. Just say yes," over and over as he grabbed my shoulders and slammed me into the side of my car. He held me there, pinned against my car, and kept screaming in my face. He was about 6 feet 2 inches. I'm 5 feet 3 inches. I started to cry and told him he was scaring me. He took a step back and I got into my car as fast as I could, locked the door and got the fuck out of there. I really hope this was the day he realized he has a little monster inside of him that can terrify people. I hope he sat up at night thinking about what a fucking horrible thing he had become. I hope he used this to become a better person. Probably not, but I guess I'm more of an optimist than I thought I did. I was this guy once. I pushed my wife in an argument, on alcohol. I had never been in a heated relationship argument and didn't know that place in me existed. I saw the fear in her eyes, and I never wanted to see it again, nor have I. Not saying he changed for the better, but people can grow from their mistakes. Sometimes people do learn and it takes a shit situation to realize how shitty they are being. Not a romantic type relationship thing, but when my sister and I were children and acted out, we were spanked. The final time my dad ever considered that as a reasonable means of punishment was when the two of us accidentally broke a snow globe. I had to be about 8, and my sister, 5. He was about to grab me, but saw the sheer terror in my eyes, the same that he had for his father when he was a child. He never laid a finger on us like that again. I mean, he still threw it and yelled. But, by no means am I excusing this guy's fucked up decisions and actions. Just made me think of the few situations, being a woman, that my fear had shook someone out of being aggressive. It's scary out there. One guy showed up 40 minutes late, wouldn't get off his phone, only grunted at me instead of talking, and then called me a fat ugly whore American when I said I wasn't interested. Another guy stood me up the first time, then when he did show up, looked nothing like his picture. He was rude to the wait staff, and kept talking to me about a show I'd said I'd never seen. He said he'd pay since he stood me up before, but then complained my waffle was expensive. It was $6 compared to his $10 entree. And then for the big finale, he tried to take me to Walmart. Oh come on, who doesn't want a nice romantic trip to Walmart on a first date? Call me old fashioned, but going to Walmart is at least an $8 waffle and second date kind of a thing. What are you? Fucking royalty? Lower your standards, womaness, of course. I'm sorry, but I won't go to Walmart with just anyone. It has to be fairly committed before I'll consider Walmart. True. Walmart is like second base territory right there. Why the fuck do people even say yes? I feel like it just ruins the joke. Like, are people really that retarded that they can't understand obvious fucking sarcasm? We, the Reddit community, have pretty much been forced to include the S because there are far too many Redditors that are terrible people who post truly unbelievable, hateful, ignorant garbage. If you already known someone is being sarcastic, then the S at the end doesn't really hurt. Otherwise it assures you that the reply wasn't made by an awful bigot or plain old idiot. I totally agree, but I have been downvoted into oblivion for obvious sarcasm before. He took me to McDonald's. That wasn't the problem, though. It was the way he acted like an ass to the cashier. He also stopped by his mom's apartment to have a loud argument with her and his sister, so that was awkward. Another one turned out to be a huge racist. And there was the guy I met at a bar who told me his plans to get rich by adding music to websites. Was it like 1991 by chance? Because if so, it might have worked. It was a long time ago, but not that long. His idea was that when you open any website, music should play automatically. I was like, that's already a thing, and everyone hates it. That's the $1 million idea, really. If he could find a way to make those websites stop doing it, then he might have made some real money. In high school, the art department hosted a fundraiser called Stop the Bop. Before and after school, during lunch, and between all classes they played Bop over and over on the loudspeaker. They said they would stop playing it when they raised enough money. We had to pay them to stop it. It was miserable, but brilliant. I'm fairly sure that's a war crime. I just checked the Geneva Convention and, believe it or not, you're right. People fought and died for the Hansen Accords. So yeah, autobads are a war crime? Not if you can just turn off the sound. He thought that being witty requires making fun of every person in his life. I had a girlfriend like this. I didn't realize that humor often came at others' expense until it started to be directed at me. Unfortunately, I had already wasted a few years on her.